everyone, and welcome to my next update. I know you're hearing the Burnout Paradise sound here real quick because I'm saving and quitting the game real quick. I gotta shut it off real quick. But anyways, my next update, because I haven't given an update for April yet. First off, you guys have probably noticed that there's been a couple projects that I have done since I've done my March update, and I haven't, talked about anything, at all, in that regard. I definitely, I completed, Paper Mario Color Splash. That was pretty fun to do. Oh, why is my camera all messed up? Oh, there we go. But yeah, I completed Paper Mario Color Splash. Which, that's a fun game. It's not my favorite in the Paper Mario series, but I definitely like it better than Sticker Star. I'll say that right now. Which is kind of funny because, speaking of Sticker Star, yeah, that overcame Finding Nemo Part 1 as my most popular live stream. Part 14, the Gooper Blooper stream, is actually my most popular stream. And Super Mario 3D Land Part 5 is second place for the most popular live stream. Yeah, that's pretty interesting how that game is my most popular, has my most popular live stream. But, well, I guess it is what it is there. But yeah, regardless though, I know that Color Splash, it didn't do as well in the views, but I don't think as many people know that game because it was on the Wii U, and the Wii U was a pretty very poor selling, video game console, so not a lot of people bought Color Splash, and I think that was actually the worst selling Paper Mario game in the series. So, yeah. Excuse me, I'm tired. But, yeah, I completed Color Splash, and, after that, I did Lorelei, which, Lorelei was, made by the same creator as, The Cat Lady and Downfall. It's a very good game, and I had fun with the game, and I did that project, so if you feel like watching that, project, I highly recommend you do so. However, there is definitely a trigger warning, with that game, because it really, it's a very gruesome game, and there's a scene that even just, it bewildered me that was even in the game. It was in it was in part 2 of that project, and if you hover over the live stream, you know how you hover over a video on YouTube, if you look at a channel and it plays a little GIF of the video, for that video, it literally, the GIF is that scene, and I was like, YouTube, what in the fuck are you doing? That was the worst possible GIF that they could have picked for that stream, because that's basically what the trigger warning was about. And I'm not too happy with YouTube about that. But it is kind of interesting how it decided to choose that. I'm not going to spoil it because, you're going to have to check that out for yourself. So I'm not going to spoil it or anything. But regardless, it's very gruesome. And that project, if you are, kind of a sensitive person, if you're sensitive to suicide, depression, domestic violence, abuse, child abuse, and murdered and things of that nature. I don't recommend you watch Lorelai or Downfall or any of those, or The Cat Lady or any of those, because R. Mikulski, he makes very gruesome games, very good games, very, very good games, but they are very, very gruesome, and yeah, I recommend you watch it if you're not faint of heart, basically. Um, I also did Super Mario 3D Land. I know I just suddenly changed topic there. But anyways, yeah, I did Super Mario 3D Land. That was a pretty fun project for the most part. Just some of those S levels though. Oh my god. Like especially oh crap, I can't remember which one it was that just gave me. It was S6 airship. That was the worst, trying to get all the coins in that and trying to survive the place. That level pissed me off, and that level will forever live in infamy to me. But without collecting the coin, it's not bad. But trying to collect the coins, though, it's a pain in my ass. Other than that, though, it was a pretty fun project. I really enjoyed it. For the most part, it's not my favorite Mario game by any means, and I do have some pretty strong feelings about it, mostly about the time limit. But I really go over my feelings about the game in the finale of that project. So, I mean, if you feel like watching that project, I recommend you do so, because I did have a good time with that game. It was very interesting, to say the least, how that played out, and it was the first project that I had to use a different program for, because the 3DS capturing software, like the viewer, it does not get along with XSplit. Like, what it does, like, you kind of saw it at the end of my new Super Mario Bros. DS project, is it would just have a really glitchy screen, and you would see, like, kind of pixels of, like, the top and bottom screen, like, all meshed together and stuff. But it got way worse, and it got to the point where, there was nothing I could do, and I had to use OBS to do it. And the thing about OBS is there is a little bit of a learning curve to it, especially between XSplit and OBS. But it's actually a really good program. It does not take nearly as much CPU as XSplit does, and I didn't notice any frame rate drops with OBS, while XSplit, there would pretty regularly be some frame rate drops. So I don't know if maybe I'll switch over to that program. But the problem is I pay for XSplit. I pay like money to use this program, and it's not getting along with my computer the greatest. While OBS seems to get along better, but the issue with OBS though is with my regular capture card, the sound will be about 5 to 6 seconds behind. Like, there will be a 5 to 6 second lag. While with XSplit, there's about like maybe a quarter second lag. So I don't really know what to do in that regard. There may be something that I'll have to figure out in that regard. But yeah, that definitely is not. Oh, that's not acceptable. So, for my projects that I keep on having to use my capture card for, I'm gonna have to still use XSplit for that, because OBS does not get along with my capture card, and then XSplit does not get along with my 3DS capture card. So, it sucks that I have to use two different programs, but I mean, I suppose what the hell are you gonna do? There's really not a damn thing I can do about it. But Yeah, it was pretty interesting to say the least, and it works really well. I did not notice any frame rate drops like I do in my my XSplit projects that I do, which there's regularly frame rate drops. Like there would be about every 5 to 6 minutes, and it would go down to like 22, 21 frames per second, and then there's sometimes where it would go down to like 15, maybe 10 frames per second, because of how much CPU it takes. And I don't know how to really work on that, because I think XSplit is just a heavy in CPU program for some strange reason. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is, though. What time is it? Oh my god, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and here I am, still sitting at this fucking computer. Anyways, that was Super Mario 3D Land. I had fun with that project. Anyways, I also did SpongeBob SquarePants Creature from the Krusty Krab. That was an interesting project. I definitely had fun with that game. It's a shorter project, along with Lorelei, both that project and Creature from the Krusty Krab. Both of those are pretty short. Yeah, it was pretty interesting to say the least. Definitely better than Atlantis SquarePantis, in my opinion, but there's some BS that goes on in that game, and I think a lot of it is just specific to the Wii version, because it's got to do with like the motion controls and stuff like that, which, you know, it's just there's sometimes the motion controls just did not work, and it would really suck because those big enemies, they just hit you, and it's like you'd have to like stun them, and then the motion control with the Wii remote or the nunchuck, it doesn't work. So yeah, you're having to end up getting hit because the motion controls didn't want to work. So yeah, that's unfortunate about the Wii version. I really did think it was an okay game, though. I know I definitely nitpicked a lot of things on that game because of how poorly done it was. Like the biggest example was there in one of the levels. There's a train, and like some of the train wheels are like overlapping each other, and they were so lazy with the wheels. Like they look like Target logos. Like that's what the wheels looked like, and some of them were like overlapping each other, and it looked like a fucking mess. And the graphics were just absolutely subpar for a Wii game. They looked horrible. Like they looked worse than Conker's Bad Fur Day, and that's an N64 game. And that's saying something. It looked worse than Conker's Bad Fur Day, and that's sad for a Wii game. But regardless, though, it was a fun game. It was a fun project. There definitely were, some things that I definitely, it's like I wish I would have been able to 100% it. But the issue is, it doesn't, like with those little, I can't remember what those things are called that you gotta collect. Those little dream things, or whatever they're called. Yeah, you gotta collect them in each level, and the problem with that is, I don't know which levels I missed them in. So, I'm not gonna be going through every single level to try to find those. No way. So, I wasn't gonna do it. Anyways, yeah, that's probably another big gripe of mine about that game, but regardless, though, it was fun, and I really enjoyed playing it. And it was a little longer than Atlantis SquarePantis, which, it's still a little too short, in my opinion. But, I mean, there are some parts of that game that did just drag on and on and on, kind of like how I drag on and on. But, yeah, this game, there's some sections that just felt, the pacing was just all over the place in that game. And I didn't really like it. But anyways, now, let's fast forward to now. I am currently LPing Burnout Paradise. And I was having fun with it at first, but some of these are just, some of the stuff in that game is just such bullshit. I'm sorry, but it is such bullshit. And I really hate that it's like I'm trying my hardest to like the game, but there's some bullshit ass stuff in that game that I'm trying to get over, and I can't. And right now, I'm kind of pissed at the game because I just got done streaming part 14. Yeah, part 14, and yeah, honestly, I am not happy with that game right now because it's like I kept crashing. I just crashed over and over and over. It was like about every 30 seconds I would be crashing. And it was getting so annoying. And it would always be right at the end of an event where I'd be crashing too. And it's like, especially with a burning route, you gotta like drive all the way back to where it was, the start of the burning route, and then you gotta do it again, and it's just, so annoying. But they must be done, and there's one of them I couldn't do to save my life. So yeah, I'm gonna have to worry about that one later, which, kind of sucks, but I guess it is what it is, though. But yeah, I'm currently LPing Burnout Paradise. I know that project is going to be lasting for quite some time because, you got all the the Paradise City stuff with the cars. Then you have the stuff with the bike, with the motorcycles. And I know that's got its own separate mode. Whole separate events. And that's going to be even longer. And then you got the Big Surf Island stuff. You got all the different events there. You get all the cars there. And yep, it's going to be a long haul, that project. But it'll be worth it in the end as soon as we get to the end, which I don't know how long that project will be. I don't think it's going to be as long as GTA 5, but I think it'll be getting pretty close, though. But yeah, anyways, yeah, currently helping Burnout Paradise. Anyways, now, let me, switch over to the Mario Party side of things. Caitlin and I, have completed, Mario Party 7. I did originally live stream the finale, but I made it private, because I have to edit it, because I was needing to edit the credits into the video, because turns out you have to beat like the river thing in Mario Party 7 on the hard mode, and that would take quite some time to do, and I really don't feel like doing it. So yep, I just got the video. I downloaded a video from, I think the user is like jmix0606. I think that's the username. I gave credit where it was due in the video. I have the video edited, and I have it ready to go, but I'm not going to post it till Wednesday. And we'll be starting Mario Party 8 on Wednesday, which I actually managed to get the story mode, or the Star Battle Arena is what they call it in that game. I actually managed to get that done very fast. I really struggled the first time I had to go through it. There were several boards that were giving me a royal pain in the ass. The King Boo's Haunted Hideaway was the first one, and then there was Bowser's Warped Orbit. That one was just a fucking nightmare for me the first time around. I just kept on getting the worst possible rolls. And there was one time I had like the Bullet Bill candy, and I got like a 2, and a 1. So I got a 5 with 3 dice blocks, and I was like, fuck this shit. I'm shutting off the game. And the opponent, which was Blooper, was 6 spaces away. So, yeah, I was pissed, to say the least. So yeah, I just shut off the game after that. So then I tried again the following day, and I beat it. So then I played through the entire story mode in one day because I actually managed to breeze right through it, with the exception of Koopa's Tycoon Town the second time, which I got curb stomped by Mario the first time because I kept getting 1s and 2s, and he kept getting 9s and 10s, and he was just doing laps around me while I was just moving the speed of a snail. But I guess what's new there? That's how every single Mario Party board is, or every single Mario Party has gone for me. At least 2 boards in each Mario Party project. I have gotten absolutely atrociously bad rolls. And I just, apparently I have the reputation for that, I guess. But anyways, yep, Mario Party 8 will be starting up this coming Wednesday. Yeah, that's coming up. So I'll be looking forward to doing that with Caitlin, and it's gonna be a little interesting because, yeah, the motion controls and all that stuff, because Mario Party 8 is very heavy on the motion controls. So, yeah, that is going to be quite interesting to, try to do shit without knocking equipment over, basically, is, the way I see it. And then, anyways, I'm also wanting to, kind of give an update on about where I am mentally, because if you haven't noticed, just these past few weeks have been really, really difficult for me, and it's just things have really come crashing down on me, and you really start noticing how I've become a lot more irritable in my Super Mario 3D Land project, and then it's just carrying on. And I know you guys maybe wonder why the hell I've been so irritable, like more so than usual. I feel like you guys probably deserve an answer for that. And and it's just part, in part to kind of get some of this shit off my chest, because it's been, it's just kind of been building up for the past few weeks, and I just kind of need to let it go. If you know what I mean. So I'm gonna be pretty much telling the whole story about the whole best friend breakup thing, because that's pretty much the biggest reason why I've been so irritable. So I've definitely talked about him in my videos, and I'll talk about him here. But yeah, Scott and him and I were, we were best friends ever since my sophomore year of high school. I was a sophomore, and he was a junior. Me and him actually dated for a brief period of time, and that didn't work out, so we broke up, but we remained friends, in a very strained friendship, I should say, and it had been strained for the longest time, but we made up after arguments. And what are you doing, comment? We had made up after various arguments and things of that nature, and it's just the way I see it is it does take 2 to tango. But it's just like he never ever. Yeah, that's one thing that I really did not like about him, is that he never ever took accountability for his actions. And that's just something that, most people do, is when they do something wrong, or any good person, I should say, is they take accountability for their actions. And it's I try my best to take accountability for my actions, and it's like if with who I am, it's like if I feel like I've done something wrong, I'll admit it. That's the kind of person I am, and that's the kind of person I've always been. And if I said something wrong, if I felt like I said something wrong, or if I've done something wrong, I'll apologize for it and I'll admit my wrongdoing in that regard. Cuz obviously, I'm not a perfect person, as is nobody. You're not perfect. Do not get that ingrained in your head. You are not perfect. You are just like the rest of us. You are just fine just the way you are, but you are not perfect. Nobody is. What are you doing? Oh, he wants this thing. He wants this thing. He thinks it's a toy. Oh, he wants his head scratched. Oh, yeah. He's such a goofy boy. Yeah, you gotta love him, though. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I was talking about, taking accountability. That's one thing that Scott never, ever did, was take accountability for his actions and some of the words that, he has said that are hurtful. And it was just a very, very toxic friendship, pretty much the entire time. But it especially got worse when he got with his current boyfriend, who he considers his husband, Tristan. The friendship really started to turn toxic after they got together, and it's just, I feel like Tristan completely changed him as a person, and he's not the same person that I knew. But as they say, people change, and sometimes it's not for the better. And it's like I'm not gonna fault him for that, because people change, and that's just unfortunately that's just part of life. But the changes were extremely negative, almost overwhelmingly negative, and I'll be getting into detail on that shortly. But basically, I think Tristan. I did not like Tristan since the second I met him. He rubbed me the wrong way. He seems to be the type that is, unfortunately, I feel like he's using Scott because of his per capita benefits. And not that it's really any of my business or anything, but I do feel like that he is taking advantage of Scott in a way. It's like I know they love each other, but that's just how I feel. I feel like he's taking advantage of Scott because he gets the per capita, and that means he doesn't work. Neither one of them work, actually, and I don't understand why, and it's like I've confronted Tristan about that before, because it's like, you're not making any money. What the hell do you have to bring to the table besides basically being a fucking bum? And that's pretty much what he is he's a fucking bum. And it's sad, but that's just how I feel. And he, didn't really have much of an answer for me, because I think he knew I was right. Yeah, I never liked the guy. I never will. And I think Tristan knew that. And I know Tristan's not a fan of me. He's never been a fan of me. But I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, because, I just fuck him, basically, is the way that I see it. But yeah, it got worse and then it got to the point where, as soon as they got their own pets. Okay, this part's gonna be really hard for me to talk about. But, as soon as they got pets, they were, they were very much mistreating their pets. Especially their dog, Casper. I have vehemently condemned their treatment of Casper, and I have had multiple arguments with them about the treatment of Casper. And they were like, it's not abuse, it's discipline. And it's like, I'm sorry, but locking a dog in a crate for hours and hours on end without letting him out to drink water, eat food, go to the bathroom, that's abuse. That's not punishment. That's fucking abuse. And I confronted them about that. And they one night they kicked me out, and I'm like, okay, I'll go home. I'll gladly go home. And then they apologized to me for making a big scene at me, and I'm like, okay, whatever, I forgive you. They do apologize, but only when it's in their best interest, basically. And basically only when they have nobody else to talk to, basically, because they scared everyone else off because of their fucking bullshit. My projector's shutting off by itself. Okay, well, that's fine by me. But yeah. Honestly, it only got worse from there. I don't know why I kept giving them chances, and I can only blame myself for giving more chances than they deserved. And it sucks, but that's just the way it is. But yeah, and basically, the boiling point was an incident that happened several months ago. Because one day, I was off of work, and they had asked me to, actually, it was almost a year ago now, but, they had asked me to babysit their dogs and their cat, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And they bring their trailer over to here, and they tell me how to take care of them and stuff like that. And then I go in, and the trailer, it looks horrible. It looks absolutely horrible. It looks like a fucking pigsty. Like, it looked like it had not been cleaned in months. And just the treatment of the dogs, like, you could tell that they were being abused. Their bones were sticking out. They looked frightened. They didn't know how to react when it was me there. And, and then at one point there was like some cleaner or something that was, spilled onto the floor. And one of the dogs drank it, and they didn't show much concern about it. And I'm like, the dog needs water to, flush that out of his system. And I told him that, and he's like, nah, he's fine. And I'm like, okay, well, okay. But, and then they asked me not to give them any water, which I thought was a huge red flag. So I actually did the exact opposite of that, and I gave them water. I gave all 3 of the dogs water, and they drank it up so fast, so fast. Like, it's kind of heartbreaking because you can tell that they were dehydrated, and they drank it so fast. It was like a whole bottle of water. Like, I brought several bottles of water from my house out there to put in a bowl, and they drank it up like within seconds. The three of them drank it up within seconds. That's how dehydrated they were. And I poured more, and they just kept drinking and drinking. And it got to the point, where it's just, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It just got to the point where, they kept drinking, and they wouldn't stop. And then they ended up peeing on the floor, and I had to clean that up. And I went in to check on the cat, because I had a cat too that was very, very scared. Another obviously abused cat who had infections and things like that. I will forever regret not taking the opportunity to get the cat out of there. I forever regret that opportunity to take that cat out of that abusive mess that the cat was in. The litter box. That was the most abhorrent part of it all, was the litter box. There was nothing in it but a nasty, dirty trash bag with paper towels, and it just had just urine and feces just all over it, and it looked like it hadn't been cleaned out in months. Like, literally months. There was no cat litter in there whatsoever, and that just it broke my heart. And there was no way to clean the litter box. I threw the litter box out, and I gave the cat, a box, like a cardboard box. Who knows what happened to it now at this point, because I haven't been in the trailer since then. And it would probably be in my best interest to not go in that trailer. But, I gave them the litter box, or the cardboard box, and I poured a bunch of cat litter in it, and the cat immediately went in to use the bathroom, and the cat was so happy and purring. It broke my heart. It really did. All those poor babies were being treated this way. And, and I also gave the cat water, and the cat drank quite a lot of water too. I gave the cat a little bit of crunchies, and it absolutely gobbled the crunchies. And it broke my heart. The whole thing, it just absolutely destroyed me. It really did. And that's pretty much all that happened in the trailer, though. But as soon as they get back, I was inside my house taking care of my two cats, because they were still kittens at this point. They were still babies. I still had to really keep a close eye on them to make sure, they weren't getting into anything, and to make sure they were, they had water, food, and everything that they needed, because I needed to watch them too. And I told them that. I explicitly told them that I had to take care of my cats too in the process. But while I was in the house, one of the dogs took a shit on the bed, and I was inside the house for maybe 5 minutes, and that happened. I didn't even know what happened. As soon as I walked outside to check in on them, check in on the dogs and the cat again, they're back. And I basically have a conversation with Scott, letting him know that I was pretty appalled about the litter box, and that I gave him a cardboard box with cat litter in it, and that I expected him to take care of that litter box. And during this conversation, Tristan goes inside the trailer, and I hear just this smacking and this whimpering and yelping. And then all of a sudden, I see him walking out, holding the dog, one of all the dogs, by like the jaw and like the neck. And I'm just looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, he fucking shit on the bed. And I'm like, that doesn't matter if he shit on the bed. That doesn't mean you get to fucking manhandle the dog. That's just not right. And then he told me to mind my business. And I'm like, this is all happening right in front of my house, right where all my neighbors could see. So this is my business, because I was here taking care of your animals, doing you a favor, and this is how you fucking thank me? And this is what you do in front of all my neighbors, in front of all them to see? A couple of them called the cops. And thankfully, they didn't. Thankfully, the cops didn't, knock on my door to, talk to me. But, I mean, if they were to, I would have told them everything. But, they didn't. But, yeah, I was pissed. I was actually livid at the way that he was manhandling them and slamming them onto the ground of the truck. I was so fucking mad. I was shaking. And, and then, basically Tristan told me shut the fuck up and to mind my own business. And I basically told him, this is all happening in front of my house, so this technically is my business. Whenever something like that happens, animal abuse, it is my business. And I will forever live with that statement. If I ever see animal abuse happening, I am going to do something about it. I don't care who the fuck you are. Do not abuse animals. They are helpless. They are fucking helpless. They cannot defend themselves against a fucking human. I am sorry, but they cannot. Especially not those sweet dogs that he was abusing. Livid is an understatement. I was just disgusted. And I told them, get the fuck out of here. Just go. Get the fuck out. And after that, I basically told them, do not talk to me again. And then they left, and me and them didn't talk for about 7 months. I think it was actually like 6-7 months. And they contacted me again, and, they were telling me that they needed somebody to talk to, and I'm like, okay, this is your last chance. That's what I said in my mind. But I've been giving him so many last chances, and I'm not going to be giving him any more chances. And, basically, long story short, me and we were talking for about maybe another month, and then another fight happened. And basically how this fight turned out was Elliot came over one night, and he must have been like secretly working with them or something, because I don't know what the story is there. But yeah, I basically told him everything. And and I basically said that I didn't appreciate the way that he treated his animals in front of my house, or just in general. And then all of a sudden, after me and Elliot hung out, I get a text from Scott saying that I'm slandering him, and that I'm committing like defamation of character and whatnot. And and that he was gonna threaten to sue me. And I'm like, you go right the fuck on ahead. I got so much proof on your ass, it's not even funny. So go ahead and sue me. And then he was saying that I was being childish and that I was making shit up. And I'm like, you're the one that's being childish, because you were the one that was abusing your animals. And I'll forever call you out on that shit. And he was just saying that I was being immature and that I was talking shit. And I'm like, everything I said was true. I have no reason to lie about that. What would I gain out of what personal gain do I have in saying that? I really have no personal gain in telling somebody that. There isn't any. It's all in all just a shitty situation, and yeah, I have no personal gain in that. None. And yeah, he just said, stop talking shit and you'll see what happens. And I'm like, you can go ahead and sue me. I don't give a shit. You will lose this case so fast. Like, they'll throw it out in court so fast. And they never tried anything. And I'm like, you know what? If you're gonna say I'm being immature and I'm, slandering you, which, in order for it to be slander, it has to be a lie. I fucking blasted her ass on Facebook, and I haven't heard anything since. So I hope they seen it, though. I hope they did. And I actually made it in hopes that they did see it, because after, right in the middle when I was sending a message, he blocked me. So I'm just like, okay, well, we're gonna play this game, huh? Okay. So, yep, I made a post on Facebook calling him out for all the shit that basically I said in this update. And yeah, that's basically, what happened there. And I had a couple friends call animal control on him. I don't know what came about on that, but yeah, they did call, and I had a couple friends call animal control on them. And I basically, I told, my friends that reported him, whereabouts they usually park their trailer, and, a description of the trailer, because I didn't know, oh, my leg, I didn't know the license plates or anything, unfortunately. But, yeah, one thing that I do remember is it was being towed by a GMC pickup 2500 HD, very similar to a Chevy 2500 HD, or Silverado. Yeah. Oh, my IT man is acting up. But, yeah, basically, that's what, came about that. Is, yeah, I had a couple of people call animal control on them, and hopefully they got their animals taken away. I have not heard anything about it, but if I do hear that they did get taken away, I will gladly take responsibility for it. I will gladly take responsibility in them getting their animals taken away, because they deserve that. They do not deserve to have animals that they can abuse and neglect and not feed them or hydrate them or anything. It's just not okay. It never has been okay, and it never will. And I will never forgive them. I've given them way too many chances to clean up their act, basically, and not once have they ever changed. And I am not going to stand for it anymore. I will not stand for it. I have principles that I stand for, and if I were to continue to be their friend and to support them, that goes against everything that I believe in. And I will not. I will not be tolerating it anymore. I tolerated it for too long, and I will not be tolerating it anymore. And I'm sorry to say it, but I think they're fucking pieces of shit. And I hope they rot in hell and die. Because they deserve it. All animal abusers, I think, should go to hell. That's just my opinion. And if you think otherwise, then you're a fucking piece of shit too. But, anyways, I think I went into enough detail about all that. I hope that all made sense. I know that probably I did a kind of a poor job of explaining some things, but that probably is in part because I'm tired. But, I hope it all makes sense, basically what happened. But, it's like I'm still trying to make sense of it all. But yeah, I basically, I'm done with it. I'm done with, defending an animal abuser, because that just goes against everything I stand for, everything I believe in. And, I won't do it anymore. Anyways, enough about that. That's probably the main thing that's been going on in my life that I've just been trying to deal with. Another thing is, with my leg, I talked a bit about it in my Burnout Paradise project. Yeah, I've been having an issue with my left leg for the past month. I finally went to the walk-in, last Tuesday. Turns out I have iliotibial band syndrome, which, is basically, when the muscles by your IT band tighten up, and your IT band is rubbing up against the bone, and that's what's causing the pain. And it hurts like a bitch. There's some days I have good days and I have bad days, and today has been a bad day. So yeah, I'm gonna be having to ice my leg, and I'm gonna have to be doing these lovely exercises before I go to bed. So yeah, because I need to get better. I definitely need to get better. Because I can't be living with this bullshit for the rest of my fucking life. But, what was interesting to me was that, the doctor, she asked me if I run a lot. And I said, no, I never run. Because it's something that runners get. So, I don't understand how exactly I got it. But I did. So yeah, I'm gonna be going to physical therapy for that, and I'll be giving updates about that probably in my Burnout Paradise project. But yeah, I just I've been having to deal with that too, so that's been kind of looming heavy on me. It's having to deal with the IT band syndrome and tendonitis along with it. So not fun. Not fun in the slightest. And then lastly, things have not been really going well for me at work. I've been, I'm getting super stressed out about that fucking place. And, you know, it's really been on my mind heavy this past week, especially. Like, if I should just put in my 2 weeks and just find somewhere else to go. Because it's really starting to damage my mental health pretty heavily. If I, you know, it's just, I feel like it's just going to damage it more if I continue doing what I'm doing. And, you know, it's just like, I'm debating it. I really am. But I feel like in order to do that, though, I need to find another job first before I put in my 2 weeks. So, yeah, it sucks, but that may be what I might have to do. Because I can't keep doing this. I cannot keep putting myself in this stressful position. I can't do it. I can't. And it's just like I have too much other shit going on in my life to be having to stress out this other shit too. And yeah, that's pretty much all my life updates for you. I know I took a lot of time explaining the whole, you know, best friend breakup situation, but that's pretty much the main thing that has been looming heavy in my mind, and I really needed to vent about that. So I appreciate you guys listening. And I know this update video is very, very long, but that's because of, you know, just me having a vent about life, basically, in this, and I really don't have much other place to do it. But anyways, I'll just give a quick recap here. Mario Party 8 will be starting this Wednesday. Gonna be continuing Burnout Paradise for, you know, who knows how long that project will be. Probably about another month or so. Oh, Arcade BMFL reads. That's one thing I forgot about. Yeah, I canceled that. I'm not gonna be doing any more of those. I just don't think it's a good idea for me to be continuing to do those. So I completely forgot all about that. But yeah, I'm not gonna be doing any more of those. I thought it was a good idea at first, but I'm just like, yeah, no, it's not a good idea. So sorry if you enjoyed them, but yeah, I'm not doing them anymore. So yeah, sorry about that. But anyways, yeah, Burnout Paradise is going to continue going on for about another month or however long that project is. And then Mario Party 8 will be starting Wednesday. So that's pretty much that. And that's it for the April update. Thank you guys so much for watching. Much appreciated. And I'll see you guys later.